And this is Houston Newsmakers. Actually, I'm talking with Dr. Alexander Byrd, who is the Vice Provost at Rice University for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And we've been talking about Black History Month and what it means and how it can be something that is really valuable to everyone. And one of the things I know that people have an aversion to sometimes is what you do. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. There are people who say, well, there's no need for that. We've gotten to a point where we don't really need that. Your comments about that?
Yeah, we're far from there. We're far from not needing diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I'm excited about how, especially since 2020, that added attention in universities and in businesses across the country have begun to take a closer look in their corporate life and in their community life, and seen the ways in which we've made, I think, really good gains on diversity, particularly since the 1960s, 1990s, et cetera. But now that we have more diverse workplaces and more diverse schools in some instances, we're now beginning to add additional questions and necessary questions about, are all the people in our diverse schools and workplaces, right? Are they all included in the same way? Mm-hmm. Are we getting the best out of everyone? And these are key questions. And are we being fair?
Right. When you talk about diversity, it seems like the more diversity you get, the more sometimes there's pushback against diversity from those who don't think that that's necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, I think there is an approach. I think it's, in my opinion, sometimes it's a misunderstanding, right? That there are folks who think the best way to move forward is lockstep with everyone in agreement, right? And diversity, they would argue, troubles that. The approach that I and others take is you need a diversity of viewpoints, right? Hard problem solving requires people with different viewpoints, different experiences, and a context that allows everyone to contribute what they have. Mm-hmm. So if you have a diverse classroom, for example, and some folks don't feel empowered to speak or feel like one group is favored over the other, then you really aren't getting the true power and benefits of that diversity that we've worked so hard to achieve in some areas of our life. I should also rush to say that there's some areas of our life that we still need to build more diversity.
Well, sometimes in public schools, a lot of times that's the case. I mean, there are schools that have been segregated for so many years, and they're still segregated in many different ways, much like they were many years ago.
That's absolutely the case, and in some school districts, our school district being one of them. I'm sorry, Houston Independent School District. I act like everyone's from Houston. Right when we talk about the diversity of the area, it becomes really difficult to have a school district that has kind of equitably balanced racial and ethnic groups within the school because of the migrations that have happened since desegregation. But there are probably things that we can do or questions we should be asking to make sure that we're not reinforcing a lack of diversity in our schools.
One of your studies deals with the Jim Crow South and a lot of the things that happened during that time. How much of a turning point was that era in helping to get us to a point now where, because that was where Jim Crow really created the resistance you talk about, that really helped get some of the laws in place that helped the evolvement of the betterment of Black Americans?
Yeah, it's a period that I teach, asking my students to pay particular attentions to the ironies and contradictions in Black life. Mm-hmm. So in one instance, it's a place where the most regrettable and atrocious laws separating Blacks from whites and benefiting whites and degrading Blacks are passed. At the same time, it's also an era of fairly powerful Black institution building and community life. And so it gives seed to what's going to flourish later as the civil rights movement.
One of the things, I'll let you go because I know you got a lot to do. You got a lot of people to teach and make impact on people. One of the resistances nationally, politically, to, quote, critical race theory. It's not really critical race theory because it's kind of been usurped. I mean, they say it's critical race theory. They're just talking about teaching a history that may not be favorable to the ancestors of some white children whose parents don't want their children to feel bad about what their ancestors did.
Correct.
That seems to be what it actually is, not resistance to CRT, but don't want little Johnny to feel bad about something great-great-grandfather did. How do we get beyond that sense of what's going on to just talk about the reality of what happened and just, it happened. We're not holding you responsible for something happened generations ago.
So I think a couple of things, right? So folks who are against curriculum that include ideas about systemic racism and the ways privilege is structured, in one way, they are right about the power of curriculum, right? Curriculum matters. And so if you have curriculum that does that, then you've begun the conversation. But additionally, even though curriculum is fundamental, curiosity is fundamental as well. The curiosity of young people, and also the empowerment of teachers. So the same folks who are living perhaps in majority white communities and are worried about the ways that a curriculum that addresses structural racism might impact their children, right? I think also have to worry about the curiosity of children, right? Who know that a place like Houston is a quite diverse place, but when they look around their neighborhood, they don't see a neighborhood that's as diverse, right? That's going to raise questions in children. And so I just say that to say that children will find a way to know the truth. Teachers will find a way to help young people find the truth, and the truth is powerful, and it draws people to it.
Well, hopefully, this Black History Month will be a time when people use this time to go ahead and do that kind of self-reflection and come up with some of those answers for themselves, too. Dr. Byrd, thank you for your input. We appreciate it. Happy Black History Month to all those who celebrate, and we hope all of you do. This is Houston Newsmakers Extra. Share this with everybody you know.